Taurus, greetings and salutations, my friends. Today we're going to do something just a little different. I'm pulling with the intention of calling out issues of self-care and how it affects your relationships, because ultimately improving self will improve all relationships in your life, romantic or otherwise. Hmm. So, hmm. It's not that you have a tendency to manipulate a situation. It's that you have a tendency to be manipulated. It's almost like in the process of keeping the peace, you will eventually give in and go the other person's way. Rather than stand up and defend what makes you happy, you'll actually buy into the happiness of the other person within the relationship. It's almost like once you decide that you really care for somebody, you kind of let them take the lead. And then as time goes by and you didn't get to do the things you want, or you aren't doing the things that you love anymore, you realize, and it's not that this person takes over everything. It's that little by little you start doing more and more of this person's hobbies, this person's wants, this person's needs, this person's schedules. And you do it just a little bit at a time, so you don't realize it until you feel like you're lacking within self. But ultimately, this person didn't run right over you. This person didn't intend to manipulate the situation. This person didn't say, well, we got to do it like this. It's that you kind of allowed them to always get their way. There's also a particular situation where you feel like it no longer is a group think. It's no longer, your opinion isn't valued as much as the other person. And they tend to be very unapologetic for that, because ultimately in the past, they haven't had to, I don't want to say they haven't had to consider your opinion. It's more like you put your stronger opinions aside just to keep the peace. I'm going to pull two more cards on this. Yeah, see? You feel like you miss out on a lot of the things. Like you look at the past and you're like, oh, I used to do this, I used to do that, I used to have time for this, I used to have time for that. And there's this golden opportunity for you to speak up and be able to do these things, but you're too quick to put judgment on the other person and say, well, they would rather, they would rather, they would rather. So basically what I'm saying, Taurus, is that in the relationships in your life, you tend to give the reins to the other person. You tend to want them to lead the relationship, because in the beginning of a relationship, you really don't have a lot of expectations. You're just getting to know somebody. You're just going to. But what happens is this person develops expectations and goals before you, and then they express what they are, and you're like, oh, that doesn't sound so bad. So we'll do this, we'll do this, we'll do this, we'll do this, we'll do this. And then all of a sudden, you need more time to want to do this, but you found yourself in a routine that actually caters to the other person. The beautiful thing about this is it sounds like when you are in these relationships with people is that they really do care and trust you, and they really do want you to be happy, because I'm not seeing outright manipulation. I'm not seeing really like trickery or selfish kind of energies. I'm just seeing that you didn't speak up and develop expectations soon enough, and the other person just kind of took lead. And now you're looking for a little bit more equal give and take, but you gave up a process of that equal give and take within the situation. So my advice would be to sit down with yourself first and decide, look at your schedule, look at your routine, look at the person that you're with, and carve out a certain amount of time for you to do the things you used to do, you to do the things that you love, without the person that, You don't need to make this person every part of your life, because that's what's happening. Because you're spending so much time, you're not doing the things you love anymore. You're only doing the things they love. And that's the problem. You forgot to carve out a little bit of space for you. And I'll bet when you sit down with yourself and you want to carve out a little bit of space for you and the things you want to do, and you communicate it to the other person, I think that they'll understand and they'll support you in that process. At least that's what I'm getting from the cards. So, what we're looking at here, Taurus, is you need to take a little bit of time for yourself, be it on a daily basis or a weekly basis, to individualize and grow the way you want to grow without the partner right there on your side. Okay? You need to make time for you. Other words, a little bit later on down the line, you're going to feel like somebody ran right over you and that they're in complete control of everything. And it's going to come off angry. You know what I mean? You'll be so fed up, you won't feel like you're there anymore. Right? And you've had relationships in the past that were like this. So it sounds to me like you're in a balanced kind of relationship, right? You're in a relationship with somebody who cares about and wants to support you. However, you are not doing the job of supporting yourself. You are being the codependent person, or you are handing over the reins and, letting the other person call the shots because, well, you didn't develop those expectations and boundaries soon enough. But there's still time to develop them. So again, I wanted to focus on issues of self-care and how they relate to relationships, because ultimately you can't change somebody else. You can only change yourself, right? So if you are triggered or upset by this reading, please feel free to vent your frustrations in the comments below. So go ahead and vent those frustrations, because I'll understand why you're upset. I'll understand why you're saying the things that you're saying. But if you let those frustrations build up and then they spill out on somebody else, they may not understand where this is coming from. So go ahead, and if you're a little bit upset, put it in the comments now so it doesn't spill out on a loved one later. I hope you found a message that serves your highest good, and I'll see you next time.